Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So this is Karen. I am still in Florida and I have just finished getting ready for a date. I'm waiting for my date to pick me up. And I figured I would jump on and make an intro for tomorrow's video. Tomorrow is Friday and I think Melissa and I will be filming together. I am so excited. She is just so much fun. Today we were in the pool at her condo, or her house rather, and we were having a great time. So we decided to do an answer your questions video tomorrow. So I figured I'd jump on tonight since the hair was done and the makeup and stuff. And we're doing an answering your questions, which I will post tonight on Instagram. And then tomorrow we will get together and film at her house. But here is the intro. I am doing the best I can. It is a real thing when you are on vacation, trying to make videos and come up with things when you're not holding a thrifting. I didn't even consider this, but that's what we're up to. Thanks so much for joining in. Stay tuned for Melissa and I answering your questions.
Hi everyone, I'm Melissa.
I'm Karen.
She's my mom.
You're my daughter.
Yes. She flew down from Pennsylvania to stay at a friend's condo on Anna Maria Island, the best place in the world.
It's heaven.
And today's your last full day, so we thought we would ask some questions and answer questions.
Yep, so I put it out on Instagram to see if any of you guys had any questions for us, because we are so professional. We just know it all.
And we got like 4 questions.
No. So we're just going to go through everybody's questions. Thank you for participating on Instagram. We do this once in a great while when we get together. And let me just start by saying Melissa's going to be embarrassed by this, but this girl is a wealth of information. Almost everything I know about selling on eBay came from Melissa. 8 years ago, I decided to sell on eBay, and I called Melissa 10 times a day to ask questions. So I'd like to give back to the community by both of us answering for those of you who might have questions, and maybe we can add something to, to helping people out who are looking forward to selling on eBay, or maybe you're already selling and you just have a question that we might know the answer to. We might not, you never know.
Sure, and if we don't answer your question or you've thought of a new question, feel free to email. I know I always take questions and answer them. You get quite a few questions.
I do,
So I'm not going to put that out there that if they want to email you, they can, but if you want a response, email me. You know what I'm saying. You can email us both. We'll have emails in the description.
All right, so I am going to be looking down at my phone because we're just going right on my Instagram. I didn't write this down or anything. We're just flying by the seat of our pants.
Yep, vacation style.
Yeah. So the first question is from Lori Sheely, and she says yes, because I asked if anybody had a question. I love this. I really want to know, do you wash everything used that you pick up, like linens, clothes, or is it sometimes that they are in good enough condition to not have to wash? Find this to be a lot of work. Love your channel. Thanks for all you do and give out great tips and information. Thanks, Laurie. So I will go first and then you'll add to it and we'll alternate. Good. So the majority of what I'm picking up, I'm going to say over 90%, I'm either washing, dry cleaning, steaming, those 3 things. If something is new with tags and needs to be washed, I encase the tags in a Ziploc bag and I hand wash it. I know, at this level, isn't that crazy? But mostly when I'm in the thrift stores, I'm looking for items that don't have a lot of stains or definitely not smelly. I don't, in the beginning I was doing that. But to answer your question, yes, I am washing a ton, especially linens, because linens, bed sheets, comforters, stuff like that, absolutely. And I also use Dryel in the dryer, which is like a home dry cleaning product. So I'll do that. And steaming, in my opinion, is really wonderful because steam kills germs. Yeah. So the short answer is I don't pick up things that need a lot of care. I try not to. Sometimes I get stained things. But what are you doing?
Well, I just wanted to mention on your Instagram, you need to follow my mom's Instagram.
Lavenderclothesline.
She posts things like linen strung across different things. Like, you're really in it. You would think for somebody of your size, you wouldn't have those like little petty tasks that you have to do, but you do it all.
Yeah, when I come home from the thrift store, in my mind, I'm right at the washer and dryer and loading the washer because you're still unloading the car from the hard goods or whatever. Yeah. In other words, to me, washing doesn't really take that time if I'm just on it and put it right in the machine and get her done.
Yeah, a lot of people don't have your willpower. If we can bottle up and sell you willpower, that's where the real dollar is.
See the willpower or craziness at this level. But
I don't thrift all that much because I'm having a lot of jewelry, which is lovely, delivered here. And jewelry to wash is sticking in an ultrasonic machine and hitting a button and it's done, which is just the best thing
why
ever.
I'm not doing that, I'm not quite sure.
It's hard to get your hands on a lot of jewelry
Yeah.
and you'd need a lot of it. But when I was going to the thrift shops, I would throw things in the washing machine and dryer or not pick them up. The dry clean only items, eBay just states, and this might have been changed, but the last time I read it, eBay states the item needs to be cleaned. They don't specify what that is, just cleaned. So
Okay, yeah.
I've ordered a lot on eBay as far as clothing and home goods, and sometimes they are not cleaned.
No, I think the
Yeah.
majority of sellers,
I think
truthfully,
people don't do it.
and not to throw anybody under the bus, I'm not putting judgment on that, but it is when you're picking up at a big level.
Yeah.
I think if you shop at the bins, I'm going to get feedback for this. I think everything has to be washed, has to, because the bins, in my opinion, is a lot dirtier and germier of a situation than the items that come right into a thrift store and get hung or a yard sale or whatever. Just my personal.
And there's flaws in clothing that you can't see until they're washed.
Yes, isn't that the
So
truth?
I would
Yeah.
rather catch it than send it out. So I also had a steamer. We just sold ours. And Bear's like, why did we sell our steamer? I'm like, it was just sitting there. Something's sitting there in my house. It gets sold.
It's gone. Yeah,
You're not
yeah.
using it? I sold all of our silverware before we moved.
We're eating with our hands.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, why don't I have forks, spoons? We sold it.
Oh my gosh.
But
that is so funny.
yeah, Downy spray works well. Whatever you can do to make the item presentable and clean.
Yeah, nothing worse than sending out an item and hearing that it smelled or whatever. But and in my house, I don't have pets. I don't have children at home. I don't have a partner. I don't smoke. So so I have a pretty good, stable environment.
And unless something is going to bring hundreds of dollars,
yes,
don't buy it if there's a lot of issues. Really try to save your time on things that you know are either going to bring big dollars or you can just flip easily.
yes, that's so true. All right, next question is from Debbie. I'm just going to say first names or
Hi,
part of
Debbie.
usernames. For both of you, what was the turning point that made you decide to resell, whether full-time or part-time? You want to go first with that one?
Sure. So in 1999, my husband, wasn't my husband back then, a stranger, opened up an eBay account and had a scanner because back then you had to scan things. There was not really digital pictures. So he would pick up like cards and scan them and sell them, and you'd get a money order and have to go to the bank, deposit the money order. It was a whole process.
A whole thing.
So when I met him in 2000, he was showing me some of this and I loved it. I was like, yes. And I had loved thrifting since at least from college days, if not earlier.
Yep.
I had already been buying, but just not selling. So in 2000, 2001, I started part-time, I would say. And I did part-time for years until I felt like I could easily make more money with eBay than I was making at my regular job, which at the time was selling BMW cars. So still sales. I loved interacting with humans, not so much anymore. eBay has really allowed me to hone in on the skills that I enjoy, which is photographing and listing and just watching a Netflix thing and just sitting at home. I love that. I know you enjoy going out and shopping. I don't love that part so much. That part's harder for me. But I would say the turning point was my husband having the account. I just kind of fell into it. But then when I worked at BMW, knowing my numbers and knowing I was going to succeed.
So do you remember how many years in before you went full-time? Can you judge that?
It was about 2004 to 2006. I did a lot of breakdowns, and then 2006 I went full-time.
Okay. And right now your feedback score is very impressive. So
Thanks.
feedback score, if you look at any seller's feedback score, generally the thought is that you take that number and times it by 2 or 3, and that's about how many items that seller has sold. So what is your feedback score right now?
I have no idea.
Oh, it's got to be like 70,000 or something. You have sold a lot.
I have like 12,000.
Oh no, I'm at 7,000. You're way past
I don't know
me.
about that. I have
You've got
had
the
other
special
accounts.
stars with
I do.
the things coming off. I just got the plain old star, which
Yeah.
That stuff matters to me.
It matters to me too. I want an award.
Right?
You can put it right there.
eBay said something about doing away with. I'm like, don't do away with awards. Somebody's got to give me some kind of like encouragement.
They used to send you things, pens. How about you?
Oh, I didn't even know that. I pretty much had the thought of going full-time as quickly as possible. So day one, I opened an eBay account and called eBay and asked them to increase my immediate listings. I talked them into it after an hour on the phone. And they gave me, I believe, 200 listings, and I was off like a shot. I'm going to say by the end of week 2 or 3, I had 200 listings and called them again. I nagged them, and they were good to me. So I'm going to say pretty much right at the beginning, I knew I'd be full-time. But by the time I really got full-time, if you're considering full-time enough to support yourself and 40 hours, that probably took over a year. I remember you making an award for me, which I still hang in my office. I love it. When I got the first 1,000 listings up, huge accomplishment for me because you're selling. Every day you sell, you got to get more on. But I hope that answers your question. And I've been full-time for quite a while now. And full-time and overtime, it's a thing.
And full-time for you looks different. Full-time for me will look different full-time from you.
Yes.
You have to know what you need to support yourself, whether you have a mortgage or not, or children or not, you're saving for retirement if you're closer to that age or not.
Yep.
Everybody's budget's going to be different.
Exactly.
So,
I keep my bills very low. Everything in my life is pretty much paid off except my mortgage. I made a big concerted effort, is that what we call it, to pay off my car. I have no debt, just my house, which I keep for tax write-offs, and I bank a lot of the money because I need, I need to be taken care of.
Yeah, you're great with
age.
that.
I'm really trying to, set the pace for
And
myself.
neither one of us, you might be surprised to hear, keeps any kind of spreadsheet. We have pen and paper. That's how we keep track of things.
Yeah,
Both
and
of us.
people are shocked to hear that. I try
especially
to
at your level with
Yeah.
like 3,500 items or
No,
something.
I do keep every expense noted as far as like, I know my mileage, I have every receipt. Like if I buy a soda, I'm at a convention, I have that receipt.
Yeah.
So I do track it.
Do you keep it in a baggie?
Exactly. Ziploc baggies per month. So I have 12 Ziploc baggies, all of June's receipts. And then to get ready for my accountant, because I have taxes every year, we get that 1099.
Yep.
And to have your taxes done, I just sit down. It probably takes me, I'm going to say, probably 8 to 10 hours to put everything together and give it to my accountant and find out what I owe. But I'm doing okay. It's good. It works for me. So you have to do what works for you. I know a lot of people need to do a spreadsheet. And people say, how do you know you're making profit? Well, I look at my bank account. To me, that's the bottom line. You know, if your bank account is building every month, you're making money.
Making money.
Yeah,
you're
you
doing
can tell what you're
Yay.
making.
And PayPal will send you, eBay now will send you tax paperwork if you make over a certain amount. But even if you don't get that, you still have to pay taxes.
Absolutely. If you
So
make
keep track
$5, you're
of
still
things.
accountable for it. Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
And that recently changed. It used to be 20,000. If you made 20,000 or sold 200 items, everybody had to claim, but they would give you a 1099. Now that's changing. All online sellers will receive a 1099 if they have sold more than $600. But even if you don't receive the 1099, you still have to pay taxes on every single thing.
Yep.
So hopefully that's the right answer, right?
Yeah, asterisks, go look it up.
Yeah. Yeah, we are not accountants. Let's put that out there. Definitely not. But we have both paid taxes from day one.
Yep.
But,
Next question.
Next question is A.L. Brown 42. Al Brown? Is that how we say that? Also love this. What is your process for new items you bring home? How do you manage your time for items that need to be cleaned or fixed, mended? And in general, how do you manage your time? Love your videos to see what items you sell and also tips on your selling strategies. Thank you. April, Thrifting in New England. Hello, April.
How fun. Wonder how thrifting in New England is.
Oh, I bet you it's good.
Do you think?
Especially hard goods. Oh, yeah.
I feel like it'd be really high.
I want to go there. I just
Foliage.
I want to thrift around the country.
And an RV. I could totally see her in an RV.
That's
like
my
really
dream.
a good one.
Yeah, with somebody driving for me because I don't want to do all that.
A driver.
Yeah. Time management. Okay, so I think the prior question about cleaning items we handled. Mending, I used to mend everything. I like sitting down with sewing. If the sewing repair is going to be almost flawless, if it's a big gaping hole in the middle of an item, I used to return the item. Now my Goodwill has no returns. Most thrift stores are still no returns. So I just either throw it out or try to put it in a scrap lot. That's another story if it's cashmere or whatever. But with time management, I am always honing that. So every time, every year, every month, whatever that I really want to grow, I'll look at my processes and try to streamline the steps I'm doing. I just talked about this in one of my videos, that when you're going from point A to point B, you want to bring everything within reach. It's almost like the difference between cooking a meal in a very large kitchen where you have to take a lot of steps, or if you're in a small kitchen, it's almost easier. So I try to tighten all my processes, and every morning when I wake up, I have a routine. So I'm waking up, I'm doing emails, social media, while I drink coffee, and then I'm creating a list of the goals for the day and the week on a clipboard. I always have a clipboard every single day of my life. I did that before reselling, when I was running
Homeschooling.
Business, homeschooling 3 kids, and keeping a very large house. So to me, I like that. It gets it out of my brain and it tells me what I need to accomplish. It sets that routine. So to me, when you're selling and you're serious, you need to know what you're trying to accomplish and in what order. Now there is flexibility, but so that's what I do. How do you time manage? She accomplishes so much. Like right now, Mellissa has started a website and she is doing reseller packaging boxes.
Shipping supplies.
Shipping supplies. It's a subscription. Right now you're maxed out, aren't you? Are you taking on?
I'm taking on just a few. The website has the extras.
And how many? So don't roll your eyes like you're not setting that pace. She is.
My husband does a lot of that. So we are doing some of that. I have a condition called CRPS, which is a nervous system disorder. I had 3 knee surgeries, and with the last one, basically my nerves tell my brain there's pain. There's pain, there's pain, there's pain. Says my brain, we don't care. I got to get through it anyway, so I take medication. I do a lot of things to try to get through that, but that pain never really goes away. It's just levels of pain. So when it gets bad, I can't do anything. But when it's good, I try to prioritize with if things need sent out, because those customers have paid already. So that's always going to be my number one, to get things out of my house and shipped that need shipped. Number 2 would probably be photographing and listing. I love those things, so that's always at the top of my list. And I like using my creativity. So sometimes that means packaging in a really fun manner, or creating cards or graphic design. I really enjoy those things, and I allow myself those things because I don't always feel the best. So depending on how well I feel on any given day, my day might look vastly different, or I could shut down my store. I shut down my store very regularly. It's down right now. And thankfully, I still have the finances to do that and can choose to do that.
Yes, yeah. But it is when you're having a good period where you feel like you can get a little more done or do some things that you want to do. How many Patreon items or how many subscription boxes, let's say that?
We send out about 150 total a month.
So you have to have organization and a schedule.
Yeah. Well,
So
Bear
those two
does, my husband does all of I create the mood board of what it is. Like this month, I haven't shared this secret information. It's going to be dogs and cats. So like I take pictures and put it digitally. I know what ribbons go with it, and curate the package. And then as we get supplies, Bear folds them and breaks them down, and then we work on shipping together.
And I bet you've streamlined
my
that
goodness.
process. So when
That's
you're
why I
shipping
gave it to
out,
him.
and they're big packages going out with
Yeah.
multiple items. So all of that has to be counted out. So it's a system. So
Yes.
have a system and try to create the process, always honing it. 8 years in, I'm still refining.
Yep.
And when I find something that's so much easier, I'm like, why did I wait 8 years to do this? But
You have a good system in place, though.
so far, yeah. All right, the next one is from Sean Foster 406. Karen, I would love to know the answer to this question because it's my biggest issue when selling on eBay. I noticed that you don't pre-pack your items. How do you know the package weights and measurements to put into your listing so the buyer pays the correct amount of shipping? Do you estimate it? I have found that pre-packaging is of course more accurate but takes up more space and then the item is inaccessible to me after that. Thanks in advance.
It's a good question.
It is. All of my clothing is pre-packed and pre-weighed and I know what the poly mailer weighs. So when I'm weighing a blouse, say the blouse is 10 ounces, I know going out the door 12 ounces is what I put into my listing to account for tissue paper or whatever. If it is a hard good and it's a big heavy item, I am measuring the weight. So I'm weighing the item. Let's say it's a pair of candlesticks, very heavy marble. I weigh them. I usually am adding 2 pounds to account for all of the packing materials. You'd be surprised how much a heavy cardboard box, packing peanuts, tissue paper, bubble wrap, all the things you need to get that out the door. At that time, I know by now how big a box I'm going to need to be able to put those candlesticks in and have packing usually 4 inches so nothing's touching a side of a box. So if my candlesticks are say 12 inches high, I know I have to put those in a 16-inch box to get that separation from the box walls, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
A lot of times, no, I store a vast amount of boxes in my house. It's crazy. Sometimes it's a mountain. But if I have a really odd item, I go secure the box. I go say it, and I will store the item in that box so I know this box goes to this item, but it's not pre-packed. So it's still accessible if the prospective buyer has another question about it. I could just pop the candlesticks or whatever out of the box, but I know this is the box I'm using for this item and it gets stored. But if you look at my basement, most of my hard goods are not in, but I know after all of this time how much that's going to weigh, and it's really important to put the dimensions of your priority boxes into your listing, because if you don't, you're only allowed a cubic foot, 12 by 12 by 12. So if your box is bigger than that, you're really going to get dinged with an added cost. I hope I explained.
And you do package your clothing in plastic zipper bags.
Yes.
So all of your clothing is kind of pre-packaged. You just have to slip it in a poly mailer.
Correct.
So that's a fairly easy thing. Hard goods is a little bit harder.
Yeah, hard goods is a whole different story. And winter coats, very heavy or big quilts. But again, I'm measuring. And
you're making a good bit of money to do that. Nobody wants to package glass candlesticks. Nobody's like, yay. I mean, if you are, good for you.
Yeah, glass is like my nemesis. I'm
but you're making
As
a killing.
says, the clear glass aisle. It's like... But yeah, how can you not when you know you're going to make great profit? I always say put my big girl pants on and get it done. And then once the buyer gets it and they love it, I'm like, oh, see?
And you've picked up 20 other things.
I have, yeah. yeah.
I ship only 99% jewelry, and all of my jewelry goes in jewelry boxes, and I package all of my items like gifts. So that's basically what I'm known for. 90% of my customers are repeat customers, and you can see that in my feedback. Like whenever I want a little gift to myself, I buy from Melissa.
Yes.
Like I have a set thing and I love doing it. I love the process of the hands-on folding the paper, tying it. That's just the part I love.
Everything is coordinated. I love receiving gifts. When Melissa gives me a Mother's Day, it's so curated. Meanwhile, I'm like, throw the thing in a brown bag. We're good.
So we have two very different business models.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
But
it's just
it
amazing.
both works.
Yeah. On eBay, there are countless business models. So don't feel you have to do something perfectly like what we're saying or another YouTuber is saying. You have to find what works for you. And some things like the shipping costs, that's the same for everybody. Everybody is,
Sure.
But
and I do first class mail, $3 or $4.99, and then heavier stuff I weigh. But I don't weigh jewelry.
Oh, really?
I just do a flat, like $3.99 if it's really light, or $4.99 if I know it's bigger.
Yeah.
And that just speeds up the process. And if it's a little bit less or a little bit more,
it all comes out in the wash.
It really does.
Yeah. And eBay gives you a discount. So do not, if you at all possible, go to the post office counter and buy your shipping label.
Yeah.
Buy it right through the eBay platform, or there are other platforms you can go on. What are some, do you know some of the names of the platforms?
Pirate Ship.
Yes, Pirate Ship is wonderful.
But do it through eBay if you can.
Yeah, and you get that discount. And
yeah, you can do it on a regular printer, regular paper, you just tape it. If you don't have a fancy thermal printer or whatever, just use your regular printer.
Yes, absolutely. That's what I did.
Yeah.
Cut and paste for a long time. Okay, next we are on Roxy Shop 17. What amount were you selling before you got on YouTube? I'm sure after you got on YouTube, your sales went up. Just wondering if you can sell the amount you sell without a YouTube channel. Thank you.
Oh, good question.
So I'm going to take this first, if you don't mind. Roxy, I did not sell more when I started my YouTube because I was taking time away from listing on eBay to create these videos. When you're not on YouTube, and you go on YouTube, you're going to be shocked at how much time it takes to create from filming or setting up the filming to getting the finished video out. So because I'm a single person seller, basically, I only have so many hours in the day. So some of those hours that I was spending on thrifting, on listing, on selling on eBay now had to be diverted to YouTube. Once my YouTube channel did bring my store more attention, I'm going to say it kind of leveled out. Some months it's probably helping, but as a whole, if you have employees, I think you would see a big tick, a big increase in your sales. But for me, YouTube is definitely taking time away. But for every dollar you make on YouTube, you'd have to make 2 or 3 on eBay, because YouTube, your costs are so low. You have a camera and some lighting.
Yeah.
And once you get monetized, you're getting paid. So for me, of course, it's financially, it makes sense. If it didn't, I wouldn't be doing YouTube, even though I love you guys. So hope that answers that question, that if you're considering eBay, get your eBay really going. Get that following, get that exposure, and then go to YouTube so that you don't,
And in between, do Instagram. Instagram is a great platform to
Yes.
learn from other resellers.
Yes.
And some people post their favorite items. They're like, oh, I found a pair of LuLaRoe, this, and this. And somebody will claim it right in the comments sometimes.
Everybody always asks me, I am not on any other platforms except eBay, which is almost unheard of. I do Facebook Marketplace for bigger items too, just local pickup, I don't ship. So a lot of people do sell on Instagram, or they're cross-listing to all
You're
the
on
other sites.
Instagram, you just don't sell on Instagram.
Correct.
But
correct.
I'm sure even you who don't sell on Instagram, once in a while get like, hey, what size is that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Everybody wants to buy it on Instagram, and unfortunately, I just can't handle doing that.
Sure.
Maybe someday I will. Maybe someday I'll just switch totally
But that's a
to
good
Instagram.
bridge if you like social media, but you're not ready to do YouTube. Try Instagram.
Yes, yeah, do stories. I don't even do stories.
I don't either. And I saw a big upswing with going on YouTube because people know now how I package and expect to see it, me wrapping their present.
Yes.
So my sales have gone up since I've created a YouTube account, and they've gone up drastically because people know how I package. So that got out the news. And I will also send a card if somebody is sending something to somebody else. Somebody's birthday is coming up, they want to send a little necklace, I'll send a card for them and ship it right to that person. So I get a lot of those.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So mine did go up. It took me years until I was monetized, though. Most people don't get monetized the first year. So that can be saddening if you're looking for that money, but just keep trying and just keep going.
Yeah. And for those of you who don't know what monetize is, it's when YouTube pays you through putting ads on your videos. So you create a video, it is checked quickly by YouTube to make sure the content is okay, and then it is gone public, and you will have commercials on it, and those commercials, those sponsors pay YouTube, and AdSense, Google AdSense, puts the money in your bank account. Not all of it, but a portion of it, and it is a very good revenue stream. So if you have any thought of doing YouTube, I wasn't going to do it. I was like, and Mellissa and my daughter Lisa was saying, you should do YouTube. And I'm like, oh, I really don't want
Yeah,
it.
you're great in front of the camera.
I wasn't. My first videos, I can't even look. Cringe worthy. But I'm doing it. So there you go.
If we can do it, you can do it.
Absolutely.
And my suggestion to get started is just start recording yourself doing everything.
Yes.
And then delete the footage.
Yep.
Like, I'm going to wash dishes now. I'm washing this plate. I'm getting it clean. Okay, now I'm going to, just to hear your speech pattern, and then cringe and delete it.
That is such a good tip, because then when you finally start making videos, it's going to feel more comfortable. The whole thing you're trying to get to is being comfortable, being yourself, and just talking about something you're passionate about. Those are my tips for you too.
And speak like you would normally speak. Don't speak slowly like this, and don't speak too quickly. People need to hear what you're saying, and you need to be engaging and excited about what you're saying.
Yes, yeah. And I really wear tassel earrings in real life.
Okay. In real life.
Next is Maria Phyllis Closet. Is that what that says? When you put something on auction, does eBay charge a separate fee if it doesn't sell every 7 days? Have you ever left an item for a very long time at auction, or do you remove it after a certain time? Thank you for all the information you give in your channel. Very informative. For me, the majority of my items are buy it now. I just lowered my store subscription from Anchor to Premium because eBay upped the amount of free listings they're giving you. Now, there are auctions that I am paying for, but what I'm selling, the only time I use auction is if I'm unsure of what that item is going to bring and I feel it might be valuable. So say I find this rare water bottle and I run comps and really can't figure out, I start it very high on auction. I might do like a make offer. I'll try different things, but I don't leave it on auction a long time. I try 1 or 2 rounds, and then I put it into a buy it now and price high. You can always lower it. To me, it's very hard to put your price up. So if you put $10 on this and it was worth $400, you just sold a $400 bottle of water for $10. But if you put $400 on it and says, and somebody makes an offer and says, hey, will you take $350? You did good. So I don't use a lot of auctions. Do you?
A few. The thing with auction is if you start an auction, I would say 5 or 7 days are the free ones. So I do 5-day auctions a lot of times because anything else is just dragging it on. If the bids aren't there, eBay closes the auction and it doesn't relist it immediately. You have to go in and tell eBay you want to do another auction with that, and you can change the price or change the day. So it's not like it's just going to be continuously
revolving like the buy it now.
Correct. Now, buy it now will get relisted automatically at the end of those days, but auctions cause you to put in a little bit more work when it's time to relist.
So the item goes, or the listing goes into your ended. So if you look at your account, you look under ended, and that's where the items that have not sold auction-wise have completed their cycle and have not gotten a bid.
Sure. So auctions versus buy it now, a lot of people are used to Amazon at this point and need an item now. Their brain says, I want the item now. So I put most of my things like Amazon now.
Yeah.
And then they know they got it. Auction, they might bid on an item and then find another item they buy and forget all about the auction. So auction's a tough thing sometimes.
It is, unless it's a really coveted item.
Yeah.
And there's not that many of them. If you have a Talbot shirt, I would never
Yes.
put that on auction because we're swimming in a sea of Talbot shirts.
I know. There's really nothing to bring that views. You really need to get views.
Yes.
To make the bidding war happen.
Yeah, to make the auction.
I have a junk jewelry auction right now. I always start my junk jewelry at 99 cents, and it usually goes for about 100, 150, depending on who's bidding on it. But the 99 cents people, it starts the bidding, it's exciting. There's a lot of junk jewelry on eBay, but not curated like I curate it.
Your junk jewelry is so good.
It's not
half
junk.
the times I want it. In fact, did I buy this from you?
Did you?
I think so. She gave it to me. Yeah, yeah. What was that? Oh, and I just touched my mic, so it's probably going shh. Sorry, guys. All right, moving on. R. Vargas 247. I don't have my readers with me. Love your content, addict of your videos.
Aww.
I would love to start selling, but I'm afraid of the time commitment. Which platform should I begin with for newbies and part-timers? I can't seem to push myself to start, need a little motivation. That is a common feeling. In my opinion, start with eBay. Now, I have heard a few other platforms might be easier to list on to get started, like Mercari. So I don't have much knowledge about Mercari because I don't sell on Mercari. eBay is fairly laid out to where you can figure it out. I think the most difficult thing to get a handle on is the shipping. Just get a scale. That's my best advice. If you're looking to start sell a few things around the house that you're done with, nothing breakable. Don't try to do clothing. Weigh the item and add at least like an ounce for the packaging, and create like 5 listings. With 5 listings, most likely, unless you make them really inexpensive and they're really good, they're not going to sell. But it builds your confidence as you see somebody looked at it. And I think it took me probably about 8 or 9 days to sell my first thing, but I was listing at a clip. So it might take a while. Don't be discouraged, just keep going. But do not go out and spend a ton of money on items only to find out it's really not for you or you're nervous about it. Don't be afraid. There are millions, billions of people selling on eBay, and somehow we're all making it work. So what would you add to?
I would add that buying clothing at thrift shops is a completely different skill set than listing clothing from thrift shops. So it's great if you love to thrift. That doesn't automatically mean you love to list and ship, though.
Correct.
So
doesn't
there's
make you
people,
a seller. Makes you a buyer.
It makes you a buyer. So you have to have the willpower to, the motivation, it seems like, is lacking a little bit, but we can do a few things with that. So if you have a death pile or something around the house, like my mom said, give yourself a time limit. Like, by Friday, I'm going to sit down, measure out a few listings, take pictures, and put on 4 items. Make sure you give yourself that goal, that very specific goal.
That's so good. Yeah, I have a lot of goals. My clipboard always has the goal. Yeah, and try to stick to it.
And make it a low goal. Don't go like 100 items. When you go into a diet, don't cut out all forms of wonderful pizza and candy and things, because you're just going to set yourself up for failure. It's the same thing.
Yes.
Make it a very little goal.
Yes.
Take a white sheet or you know, something plain. Sometimes I use my couch, and just take the best pictures you can, upload them, do the best you can. You're learning, so they could look awful. They probably will look awful. That's okay. You're learning. Yes. All of our stuff looked awful at the beginning.
I look back at some of my old photos and it's like, oh, I'm really glad that I progressed and gotten better at
Black
this.
dresses just looked like big black blobs on my wall. Nobody could tell what they were. How I got
so
any
true.
bids, no idea.
Yeah, that's so funny. Oh my gosh.
But give yourself a goal, and if you need to give yourself a reward, give yourself a reward afterward.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, the next person is Instinct Mama
_.
Yes. Hi, I just found your videos. I'm also in central Pennsylvania. Hello, neighbor. And so I wonder if you're the one taking all the good stuff. Guilty.
She is taking all of the good stuff from every store.
Seriously, I'm going to hit the WG Flea, Williams Grove Flea Market now, and you have taught me so much in just a week. Thank you so much.
She's not there. Go now.
Let me tell you, there is more than enough for everybody. And I'm there all the time. When I go to the thrift store, there might be anywhere from, I don't know, 2 to 10 other resellers. I never feel anxious about it because there's so much stuff. And my best tip is go to the biggest the thrift store that you can find, the biggest one. Because think about it, if you go to a store that's very tiny, they're only getting a small amount of inventory, only a small. But if you go to the big Goodwills, the big Savers, and they have a big sales floor, there are more products. So you have a better chance of finding things. And even if there are more sellers, they're renting that space or own that space, so they know they have to be able to take in that much. So in other words, my big Goodwill, they are getting the biggest amount of donations because they have the biggest floor space. So where am I going most often? The biggest stores. So hope that's helpful.
Yeah. And I know you mentioned senior discounts one other time, not in this video. Mm-hmm. So if you're a senior, what is it, 60?
55 and older.
55.
Yeah.
So make sure you know what days to get an extra discount. And sometimes they run specials during the holidays where you could buy a gift card and get a little bit more, like buy a $25 gift card and get $30 on your gift card. Or they have a lot of like in promotion stuff.
Yes, and I am always asking the manager when they're doing the promotion, because normally I buy a $5,000 gift card and get 1,000 free. That's 20%. And then with that $1,000 card, I'm shopping on 50% off day. So we're really multiplying that. And I could probably buy a $10,000 gift card and spend it along with the $2,000 in less than a year. So definitely know your sales, know your stores.
Yeah.
Okay, next person is YZY.
YYZ Tog DG.
C. Oh, Tog. Oh, Talk.
Talk?
Is that a C? We don't know.
You
your name.
said, do you price items knowing that you're going to put them on sale? Put a few extra dollars to get the price you want.
I run a new sale every 48 hours, basically. Sometimes I forget to turn it on. Anywhere from 15% to 40%. Once in a great while, I do 50% off my whole store, all the buy it nows, and that's what I'm going to be doing when I get home. Tomorrow is Saturday. I'll probably start the sale.
It's a scammer. Go away, scammer. Do you have any tips and tricks?
Yeah, really, right? Okay, how do I get back into this?
You're there.
And what was I saying? What was I saying?
You're going to start
My sale for
your
50%
sale.
off
Yep.
to get my store going again. But I run a new sale, and yes, I do price my items at the higher side of what they're worth. So if I feel a blouse is worth $40 to $50, I will price it at like 50 to 52, and then it goes on sale and brings it down. Depending on what sale you catch, that's what you're going to pay. So if you know my store, you're waiting for the 40% because that happens quite often, and you're getting something at a good sale price. But I'm trying to provide good quality at a fair price, and I feel sales, just like any mall store, that's why they're doing it. You have to know, though, that you're not losing money. Don't put things on sale not knowing what your bottom line is of what's going to make you a good profit. But do you run
I
sales?
never run sales.
Okay. Oh, I love
Not
that
a
we have
single,
such different
yeah.
models.
So I price my items, again, I have jewelry, so if it's not like sterling or gold, I usually price $4.99, $6.99, $9.99, depending on the product, because I know that's what my customer can afford, and I haven't paid close to that. I usually pay per pound. So if something has been in my shop for a while and it hasn't sold at that, I can make an offer. So I use eBay allows us to click a little button to send offers, specific offers for specific items, and I'll do that. So if something is $9.99 and has been sitting around for 6 months, I might offer $8. So when I send an offer, I always try to send it with the 00 at the end. So that way, just in my own head and on paper, I know whether something sold for full price or sold where I offered them a price.
Oh, that's a really good trick. I like that tip. Yeah. So you're just looking at it quickly. You don't have to look back and try to figure that out.
Yep.
Really good tip.
Yeah. So I do that often.
Next one, or the last question, comes from Hearts and Thrift. Karen, to manage a store your size as a one-woman show, roughly how many hours a week would you guess you devote to eBay? I really appreciate the care you put into prepping, storing, and shipping your items. I'm afraid to even think of how much I work. That's why I took
4,000 items, 4,000 hours.
Yeah. So before I did YouTube, I was probably putting in, I'm going to say, what would you say, like 60 hours a week into eBay. And I have to say that when YouTube came along and I'm doing 2 videos a week, that's a lot of hours. I try to really, like I mentioned before, streamline my processes to gain time. Time, guys, is my biggest challenge because I am one woman. I do have Lisa, Melissa's sister, my middle daughter, come in and photograph for me 5 hours a week, and I am doing the rest of the photographs every day, like before, after thrifting and shipping. And so my day starts very early. I'm an early riser, thank goodness. I'm up at like 3:30, 4 a.m. and I'm on the move, but I love it. So while some days do feel like a grind, I try not to make it feel like a grind. All in all, I'm going to say right now I'm probably doing 70 hours a week. And I'd like to think that I have a full day off. Very rare do I have a full day off where I'm not doing any tasks. Even Sundays, I have to start my shipping, my weekly shipping, Sunday night to get out Monday morning's packages, because even if I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm not getting out, 60 packages, and a lot of it hard goods. So a lot of hours, but I love it. And I just took a 10-day vacation doing very little work, just making a few videos.
This is our first 10-day vacation that you didn't bring your laptop. You shut off your store. I'm so proud of you.
I know, a little bit nervous if it's going to turn back on. Thank you.
It'll turn back on.
So everybody go to my store. 50% off is the next sale.
3,000 items sell.
Yeah, yeah. And then I have to pack it all up. Don't too many of you buy. I'm only kidding. But how about you? How many hours are you putting in?
I even hate to say, some weeks it's 5. Some weeks
if you're having a rough week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's just the week of Patreon, or Bear's needed surgery now for a little bit, or I'm not feeling well. Just a lot of not feeling well here in this house. We're going to get better.
Yes, absolutely.
So maybe on a really good week, 20 hours, I would say, would probably be my limit.
Which is amazing.
Thanks.
It's amazing. Her store is just, like when you put your store on vacation or time off, I should just say, time away it's called, right? And you turn your store back on, she has sales like immediately. People are waiting for her stuff.
Yeah.
So, and your photographs are just beautiful. Go over and look at Melissa's store, Fresh Blooming Clothing.
It's closed.
When it opens up, keep an eye on it. Follow it so you know when
the first week of July, I'll reopen.
Yeah. Your photographs are beautiful. Your items are beautiful. You buy from her, you get a great deal, and it's beautifully packaged. And yeah, she has a lot of.
It's so funny because I'm just sitting with a white piece of paper on my island. That's it. Just a white piece of paper is my background for 90% of my stuff.
Is it really? When I look at your store, you use those pillows, and it's
sometimes you'll see less and less of that. Most of it is just white.
And you have this good Florida lighting.
Yeah, the lighting helps.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for all of your encouragement and support while I've been on vacation. I appreciate you guys, and a big thank you to my firstborn, Melissa, Fresh Blooming Clothing, who I love madly, and who was so gracious to have patience with me while I was learning eBay and just help me out. It was fun. I called you so many times.
It was fun. I was glad to share my knowledge.
Oh my goodness. But all right, guys, hit that like and subscribe button and go out and get what's yours.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, sweetie.
Sure. Love you.